perfect posture. It must be a banker. The steps grew softer, but Sophie didn't dare breathe, waiting, listening for any sound beyond the buzz of Sinclair's computer tower. It wasn't until she heard the distant ding of the elevator that she closed her eyes in thanks. She was safe. As Sophie knocked on Ethan Pierce's door the next afternoon, every muscle from her fingers to her neck tightened into a single stressed-out mass. The other analysts said she was lucky to be working for the most profitable managing director in their group, but honestly, Ethan scared her. It was perfectly obvious he thought everyone around him was an idiot. He wasn't bad-looking. Thick dark hair, commanding square jaw, skin that always looked wind-burned, even though with the hours he worked, he couldn't possibly spend much time outside. He was in better shape at 40 than most of the 22-year-olds she knew. But his dark eyes had a coldness, like he was assessing her worth. Ethan hardly looked up as Sophie slid into the chair beside Vasu Mehta. No thanks for staying until 3 last night, no nice work on the presentation, and definitely no sorry it took me until almost 5 p.m. to actually look at it. Ethan slashed red pen across the analysis like it had somehow offended him. It was 19 hours before Ethan's lunch meeting with the CEO of Illumicorp, his prize client. In a week, the set of strategic alternatives the managing director planned to present at the meeting had mushroomed from 5 to 14. The stack of pages before him was now over an inch thick. If the meeting were delayed a day or two, Sophie was pretty sure 14 would become 30, the work expanding to fill every last possible second. Sophie looked over at Vasu, hoping for a smile, a thumbs up, anything encouraging. Vasu's shrug confirmed what she'd already suspected. She wouldn't be seeing her boyfriend, Will, for the 6th night in a row, and Vasu wouldn't be tucking his daughter into bed. Vasu was a vice president, a mid-level, and her direct superior, but as far as she could see, the only difference between them was that he got to go home before she did. Ethan laid his pen in perfect parallel to the edge of the desk. The other bankers decorated their identical modular desks with construction paper Father's Day cards, photos of themselves in scuba gear. Not Ethan. Not a single picture. Nothing on the walls. Ethan's desktop was empty except for a Sterling & Sons mug holding pencils sharpened to a stiletto-thin point. One peek inside his top drawer had been enough for Sophie. Swimming goggles, nail clippers, a Ferragamo tie wound into a tidy coil, and packets of Goulden's spicy brown mustard. Nothing that compared to Ira Blumenstein's gold tooth, Kenneth Yang's Darth Vader lollipop, or Rich Angstrom's magic 8-ball. Ethan swiveled his chair to face his floor-to-ceiling window. He pointed 26 stories down to the twin spires stretching over 5th Avenue.
We should have held this meeting at St. Pat's. Then maybe we'd have a prayer.
Sophie could never tell if Ethan was joking or criticizing, another disadvantage of being new. Vasu raised a finger, and Sophie knew what was coming.
We could add a split-off of the Midwest, no?
Vasu asked.
Can't hurt,
Ethan said.
Anything that brings in fees.
Illumicorp was their best shot at booking business before year-end, or so Ethan reminded them pretty much constantly. Which was why, in the 4 months Sophie had worked at Sterling, she'd pulled more all-nighters than she had in 4 years at Yale. It wasn't enough that she'd spent her entire Sunday modeling a merger between Illumicorp and Millennium Can. On Monday, Ethan made her add a deal with Safety Tube. This past week, she'd modeled mergers between Illumicorp and the rest of the top 10 aluminum manufacturers. Correction, every one of the top 10 except Rollright. Now that she thought about it, why weren't they including Rollright? Should she suggest it? Her first month at Sterling, Sophie had taken it upon herself to work